All right. Are you ready? Do you feel comfortable?
I am ready. I feel
You have your
great.
caffeine?
I have my caffeine.
Excellent.
It's car con carne. Let's eat in the car. It's car con carne. And now here's the star of our show, James Van Alstyne.
This right here is Car Con Carne. It's a Q101 podcast. I'm James Van Alstyne, Car Con Carne, sponsored by Easy Automation, easy-automation.net. It's time to turn your home into a smart home. Transform your entire living space with cutting-edge home automation. It all works together. It all comes together. Control over audio, video, climate, security, everything. Embrace the future of smart living. It's your home, your rules. Get a quote. It's hassle-free. It's fun. Go to easy-automation.net or call my guy Dan at 630-730-3728, 630-730-3728. It is a Saturday morning. I like recording these on early in the morning when there's actual sunlight out. I'm seizing the day with coffee. And for this episode, I'm joined by Aud Whitson, who released one of the most authentic, honest, no frills releases you'll hear all winter long. A House That Can't Get Quieter is her new EP. She is based in Kansas, but I invited her to chat while visiting here in Chicago. So here we are. It's a Saturday morning. We're drinking coffee.
Carcon coffee.
Carcon caffeine. I like
Yes.
it. So you're in Lawrence, Kansas. True story, fun story. I was kicked out of the University of Kansas in Lawrence, Kansas.
Why?
Academic disappointment.
Okay.
It was, you know how some kids aren't ready to go to school when they go to school?
Yes, I wasn't.
I can tell you I was not either.
Yes.
And it's, as we learn as we get older, it's not about the mistakes, it's about the recovery.
Yeah, totally.
But it's a lovely town that you're from.
Oh, it's lovely. It's not where I'm from, but it's where it's where I'm from right now.
where you've dropped anchor, we'll say.
Yes.
It's the only area in the entire state that has like topography, like there are hills and stuff there.
Yes, I think so. I think there's the Flint Hills, but I've heard that if you sized down Kansas to be the same as a pancake, it would be flatter than a pancake. I don't know if that's true, but that's what they say.
I like the imagery. So let's talk a little bit, and please, enjoy your latte, courtesy of Carcon Coffee. Talk a little bit about your musical journey. What brought you here? Because I want to get to this EP and the way you recorded it. But when did you start playing? What inspired you to pick up an instrument? That sort of stuff.
Well, I've been playing. I've been doing music my whole life. I haven't been playing guitar my whole life, but I've been a singer my whole life. I loved music in elementary school. I always joke with people that I was probably really, really annoying to be in class with, because we would do attendance by our teacher would sing to us, and then we would sing back to her. We would sing our name to her.
Was this the Fame School? Where it would, that seems...
No, she would say, "Hello, Audrey," and you'd say, "Hello, Mrs. Ehrlichman." And I would always ask to do attendance a second time because I wanted to sing again.
You got the encore.
So I think I was probably really annoying to grow up with in that sense. But yeah, I just
Did you have a musical family? Is that where it came from?
Well, yeah. I mean, I grew up in church, and I think if you grow up in church, you grow up around music for the most part. And my dad is a musician. He has never had a piano lesson in his life and can play piano better than most people I know. Can just hear something and sit down and play it.
That's a gift, truly a gift.
Oh, it's amazing. He figures out Elton John songs all the time. He's like, "Audrey, I have something to show you." And I'm like, "Hey, Dad, how long did that take you to figure out?" And he's like, "Oh, maybe an hour and a half."
Oh my God.
It's crazy. Sometimes it's less than that, but an hour and a half to really get it down for good. And so just growing up watching him, my mom has a beautiful singing voice. She doesn't identify as a musician, but she has a lovely singing voice. People in church would always be like, "Wow, it's really nice standing near you." So yeah, I have a musical family. My siblings are musical too. And I just fell in love with it. There's videos of me at 1.5 years old standing on a makeshift stage, just singing and dancing. And my mom has journals of when I first was able to write, and I would write like songs. They were really bad, but I would write
Got to start somewhere.
Yes. So it's just kind of always been something I care about. But it wasn't until I was probably like 18, 19 that I went to music school for vocal performance in opera singing. And it was something I did because I was good at it, not necessarily because I loved to do it. But I was told I needed to go to college, and I didn't know what else to go to college for. Because I didn't really care about anything else. So I tried that, and, you know, it just was very clear to me that it was something that I knew I could be successful in if I you know, saw it through, but it wasn't something that, like, actually made me really happy. And so I started writing songs in my free time to just kind of get through, you know, that change, like coming of age, transitional time. You move away from home and things like that. And then COVID happened. I only started writing more music because I was sitting at home. I had nothing to do.
time.
Yeah. And then I ended up taking a leave of absence from school that never ended.
Okay.
So yeah. And then I just kept doing music, and I have a job, and I pay my bills, and I do music. So
I love that.
Yeah.
So again, the EP, A House That Can't Get Quieter, it comes out on February 7th. These songs were recorded as voice memos to your phone.
Yes.
Explain the idea behind that. Did it initially start as, I just want to capture this stuff just for my own reference and maybe do something with them later?
Yeah, so anytime I write a song, I always capture it as a voice memo first, just so I don't forget it. And I had some songs that were voice memos that I've shared voice memos with people, and I've always gotten the feedback that my voice memos have something about them that my, like, really fully produced songs just, like, it doesn't quite capture. And I think it's
Is it that authenticity that
yeah, I think
that
it's
real
just,
and rawness?
Yeah, the vulnerability of it. And so Mark Rose, who you know,
Mark Rose of Spitalfield.
Mark Rose is wonderful.
Former guest on this podcast.
I say he's the thread that connects us all.
So, okay. we'll jump around a little bit. What's your connection to Mark?
So, my cousin is a songwriter, and he knows Mark through just writing songs together, working together, and my cousin introduced us. So, yeah.
Yeah, he's great. He's
wonderful.
He's a mega talent.
Yes, he's amazing. He's in the UK right now.
Of course. Yeah, Spitalfield.
Yeah.
Doing
and they
what
just
they do.
released a new single.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right, so, sorry, little tangent there. You connected with him, and he encouraged you to do something with?
Yes. So I came out here to record a background vocal on a song, and that's kind of just why I was here. It was just like, oh, this seems fun. I'll go on this little trip. I'll hang out with my cousin. I'll record this background vocal for this artist. And after we got it done, they were just like, well, we have time left. Do you want to show us some of your music? And I did. And they were very impressed by this song that I showed them, Easter Flowers, which is, you can listen to Easter Flowers. It was a very different version. It was just like my acoustic guitar.
Mm-hmm.
And we just got to talking, and they were like, would you want to make music? Like, would you want to, like, work together on making a project? And I said yes, and then I moved out to Chicago. So
that's amazing.
Yeah.
And so here we are. This EP's on the way. And we're a little bit in front of this. Again, it comes out on February 7th, but I want to talk about some of the songs on your EP. Not only is the recording methodology very vulnerable and raw, I mean, lyrically, I don't know how much you're doing storytelling here or how much you're laying it all out there. But it feels very, very vulnerable, very confessional.
Yes, it is very confessional. I would say it's like a good 50-50.
Okay.
Maybe 40-60 of storytelling to just telling real, true things that I've experienced and been through.
I've always wondered, for songwriters who put themselves out there like that, it feels courageous to do. Is it hard to do to share that with strangers?
I've always been an open book to a fault. It's actually something I'm working on. So it's not particularly hard for me. I think the part that's hard is I put a lot of pressure on myself in regards to what will the impact of what I'm saying be, and are there things that, so like all these songs were longer, but there's things I cut out because I thought that maybe it wouldn't be helpful, or maybe it just didn't serve the impact I was trying to have. So I don't think I struggle with putting stuff out there. I struggle with, am I putting this out there in a way that is going to be most effective and helpful to people? Which I try to like not put too much pressure on myself, but you know, when you are writing about things that are serious and emotional, you know, I do care about the way that my lyrics impact people, and I really only want to include things that feel fully honest and fully supportive of the story I'm trying to tell. And if it doesn't feel 100% that way, I usually cut it. So
Makes sense. I don't think I'm a good writer if I can only write songs about this place. It doesn't make you a good fighter if you can only fight back when you've been punched in the face. Do you really not think you're a good writer?
No, I think I'm a good writer. I like to believe I am, at least. I wrote this during a time where I was feeling really, I was having a lot of imposter syndrome, which I have often.
We all do, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely. And also, I think as a small artist, there's so many times where you're like, is there a reason my music hasn't done better yet? You know, and really there's not a reason other than a very saturated industry with a very unfair algorithm.
Well, yeah, and the roadmap, I mean, to go on that tangent, the roadmap to success as a musician has changed and continues to change and shift. And I don't think it's really clear how to get there. Everyone kind of finds their own way.
It's totally not clear. I see artists that go viral on TikTok and had no intention of being famous, and then I see people who have been doing it for a decade and have a very, very, very small but mighty following, and I think both of those things are amazing, you know? So it's just a weird industry. Things have changed in such a fascinating way with the internet. So,
and to be clear, the song I quoted, Songs I Wish I Wrote, from A House That Can't Get Quieter. Feeling it, we've talked about Lawrence, where you're from. I'm playing a show down on 8th Street.
Yes.
Is that Lawrence, like somewhere over by the Bottleneck?
Yes. Yes, that is by the Bottleneck.
That's amazing. That's amazing. They always play pool by the bar.
It's 8th Street Tap Room. Well, no, sorry. I'm not saying that's not referring to the Bottleneck. Sorry.
Right.
But it is referring to a place by the Bottleneck.
I remember the area.
Yes.
Somewhat.
It's 8th Street Tap Room. Was that there when you were?
I don't think so. The Bottleneck for sure was.
Okay.
And that's Feeling It from the album. Loose Ends is the first single.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about social media. I don't want to be a Facebook post signed by the ones I love the most. We're coming off a pretty weird week for Facebook, pretty controversial week
absolutely.
for Facebook. Where do you stand on social? Are you? It's the necessary evil for an artist.
Yes, it's very strange, and this is a weird question. This is a weird week to ask me this question because so much about social media has changed even in this week. So very weird week. I have a weird relationship with social media. I think I resent it to some degree. It's at this place where, as an artist, especially as a small artist, you don't really have the privilege of not having social media.
Right.
You know, if like J. Cole is an example of someone who doesn't have social media, but he's big enough that he can do that and still trust that people are going to listen to his music. And I think that that's a great way to do it once you have that big of a following. But I obviously don't. And so, you know, I think I resent it to some degree because I would love to not have it. But I know that I would just suffer so much as a musician if I didn't. And also, like, there's the weird stuff of social media replacing marketing teams for small artists that get signed to labels. Instead of the label providing them a marketing team, they say you have to post 3 TikToks a day minimum.
Right.
And it's just, I think it really does a disservice to artists who want to be spending their time creating and doing the thing they do and not also having to be a marketing team on an app that like it just really wears away at your brain. So I have a lot of bad feelings about social media, and I don't know how things are going to pan out with all the stuff going on with Meta, but I am glad to see a lot of artists moving to platforms they feel are in more alignment with their values. I think that's great. I've seen artists move over to Tumblr as a way to kind of protest some of the stuff that's going on. I've seen people move over to Blue Sky. I haven't tried any of those things yet, but I've kind of just been trying to process this week before I even get into any of that.
It's been a lot.
Yeah. But I am glad to see artists kind of trying to protest and take a little bit of control back and trust that their audiences care enough to join them and make the move over with them. So
yeah, and even beyond ethics, belief systems, whatever, it's this weird attitude that you have to be on all the platforms. You have to be everywhere. I kind of feel like you should only be on the platforms you want to be on, and that you feel like you can confidently convey who you are and what you do.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, like I got a Facebook for Aud Whitson recently, and I got a X, I would say Twitter, X for Aud Whitson. And like I hated doing it because one, I don't want to be on X. Two, but I was doing like a promotional thing, and they were like, we need all of your social links, and I was like, I don't have all of them. So I made them just so that I could provide social links to everything
just
they asked for.
Just to check that box.
Yeah, and it's like that just feels goofy.
It feels inauthentic.
Yeah, it is inauthentic. I've retweeted one thing on X, and it was I did a show at the library. I did a show for the 100th birthday of the library at KU.
That's cool.
I know, I loved it. I thought it was such a cool premise.
More library shows.
Oh, yes, I posted that. I posted that when I did it. I retweeted that because I thought that was cool. I thought it was a really cool accomplishment to perform for a library's birthday.
Hell yes.
Yeah. So
the last song on the EP, 9 Lives, I think the most powerful song on this EP. Is this a song of mourning?
Yes. Yeah.
Relationship mourning, actual someone passing mourning?
Yeah, it's about someone that I lost in my life who passed away.
It's a tough listen.
Yeah.
Again, it's that confessional, very honest, very authentic approach, and the method. It all kind of comes together lyrically, vocally, and just the way this was all recorded. It's one of those things. I listened to it. I thought, how come we haven't heard more of this? Like I listened to it, I'm like, this makes perfect sense. And we live in a world where it's very easy to do. Well, I say it's very easy, but I mean, recording wise, it's easy to just get your thoughts, your feelings, your art out there in a fast and efficient way.
Absolutely. Part of why I chose to record it in the way that I did was, well, I should clarify too. I didn't just use a live voice memo for things of like me playing my guitar and singing together. I recorded my vocals and I recorded my guitar, and then I put them together so I had more control over volume levels and being able to EQ things and things like that. So I kind of wanted to come up with a way to capture the vibe of a live voice memo of me singing and playing together while still having some level of control on the production side. And part of why I chose to do that was because I think of artists that I really admire who have done like 4-track releases, and I don't have one, and I didn't want to acquire one, and I was just like thinking like, what is kind of the modern lo-fi thing that I have access to? And I was like, my phone.
Hell yeah.
So, and I like that I did it because I hope that it shows people who feel like they need to go pay a bunch of money for studio costs to have someone track their vocals with them. I hope people can see, no, you don't necessarily have to do that, and just see like that music can start anywhere. You don't have to have some fancy shiny thing. So, yeah. That
is the truth. This is different but similar. But through the years, I've had people ask, how do I start a podcast? Do I need special mics, recording gear? I'm like, you have a phone, right? I mean, same thing. Like, grab the phone and start talking.
Yeah, totally. You got to start somewhere.
You got to start somewhere, and you have access to start developing things. And A friend of mine owns a comic book shop in Chicago. He's owned it for a very long time, but he and his business partner have recorded a podcast on their iPhone between the two of them on a table for going on like 900 episodes. And it sounds
Wow.
great. And they never upgraded, and they haven't needed to.
Yeah.
Just the point being, if you have the inclination, if you have the artistic vision, just get your shit out there.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah, there's an artist in Lawrence who I really admire named June Henry, who has encouraged people to just like not overthink it.
That's it.
Just get stuff out there and make it so that people can hear it and trust that you got to start somewhere. And I think that that's really powerful. And it made me feel better about this project, just hearing feedback from people that, you know, they wouldn't have necessarily even known that it was recorded on my phone, because with access to GarageBand and Logic and so many DAWs that are like fairly accessible to people, you can really do a lot more than you would think. If you know, I use a lot of YouTube tutorials.
Absolutely.
Know? And I also, I did partner with Chase Horseman, a producer in Kansas City. They helped me clean things up and also did some level of composition on their own, like Mellotrons and stuff. So cool. I had some support. I'm not going to take all the credit for the way that it sounds, but it was really cool to take this vision to them and just see what they do. And we worked together on it, and it turned out amazing. I couldn't be happier. So
I love it. And again, the EP is out on February 7th. A House That Can't Get Quieter. It's confessional. It's real. You did a great job on it.
Thank you so much.
And Aud Whitson, that's you. What's ahead in 2025? And we're at the beginning of the year.
Yeah. I plan to release more music. How that happens, we will see. I'm trying to figure out some things now. I have a full-length project in the works that I'm really enjoying how it's turning out. I'm trying to decide if I want to take the same approach of recording it into my phone and then mixing it with Chase in Kansas City, or if I want to kind of lay the groundwork production that I do, bring it to Chase, and then maybe we retrack vocals on some sort of a nice warm vintage mic or something. I haven't decided, and so that's kind of what I'm figuring out. But I do have a lot of music coming. Whether I get it out as a full-length project or I get it out as singles, I don't know yet. Still trying to figure out the logistical things. But I'm trying to make it happen. So,
is there a chance you'll be able to bop around the Midwest and do a little tour?
I'm hoping to. I have 6 free stays at Motel 6s anywhere in the United States.
That's fantastic.
I was a runner-up.
That's baller.
I was a runner-up in a Motel 6 songwriting competition.
That's amazing.
Yes.
I'm proud of you. That's great.
Yes. If I won, I would have gotten $6,000, which would have made it so I could guarantee that I would have more music out this year. But it's okay. I'm very grateful. It was an awesome experience, and I'm hoping to use my 6 free motel stays to do something.
Amazing. All right. Well, thanks for getting together on a Saturday morning.
Yes.
Great way to start the day and the weekend. We're recording on a Saturday.
Yes.
And the new EP is on the way. More music behind that, and hopefully we'll see you in person here in Chicago on a stage.
Yes. I'm hoping to. I would love to play a show at Sleeping Village.
That'd be perfect.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks, Aud.
Thank you so much.